All right, guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Forrest Munn, and I'm currently 4 days away from a CFI check ride, and I want to teach you about one thing specifically, and that's how to read the density altitude chart. So, I'm assuming you already know what density altitude is, right? It's pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature, which means that we need to get our pressure altitude first, and this is not the equation method. There is an equation method. I think it's like pressure altitude parentheses 120 times outside temperature minus standard temperature and parentheses, and then you do your order of operations from there. I will do a video on that because I used to use that method. But this one is a density altitude chart, which I get it. Scary graph, right? There's red lines and this goes that way. And I get it. I was that way too. I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to make it really easy. You're going to need a couple of things, right? We know that density altitude is pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature, but they have this handy dandy pressure altitude conversion chart. And what you need right now is go to wherever you're getting your, guys, I love retro wave and synthwave. I've been getting into it lately. Go here to wherever your airport is, okay? Where you need the density altitude at. And I want you to pull up your altimeter setting. And right now we have an altimeter setting of 30.04, okay? Go to your altimeter setting, go down, find your altimeter setting. Mine's 30 point, and be careful what you're using. So look, this is like 30.0, and then there's no 4 obviously, and then there's 30.1. I always just round it up to the higher number just to be a little bit safer. I increase those margins, so we will use the 30.10, and we're going to cross it out, and that gives us a pressure altitude conversion of minus 165, and it says minus. Okay, so now we need our field elevation. So go back to your sectional chart and pull up your field elevation. It's 21903 for my airport. Okay, so field elevation is 21903. All right, and 21903, we'll just do this on the calculator here because I don't math in public. 21903 is 165, and now we have a pressure altitude of 2028. Cool. This is our pressure altitude, okay? Now that we have this, now we can go over to this chart. One more thing that I need to find, we're going to start here. I'm going to label this for you guys step 1 through 3. Okay, so here's step 1. Step 1, go and look at your temperature. Steps for this chart, not all together, obviously. Go to back to your sectional. I have a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, so it's 11 o'clock and it's already 90 degrees, so it's hot out. Okay, so I have a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to go back over to my chart here, and don't get these mixed up, right? Celsius and Fahrenheit. I hope you guys can see this because it's a little, maybe I can zoom in a little bit here. It gets a little, what's the word, grainy as I zoom in, so I'm not going to zoom in anymore. And go over to 30 degrees. Now it looks like this is 32, it's 27, so we'll just go ahead and say this line here to make our lives a little bit easier. And now I want you to follow this line upwards until you get to the pressure altitude, right? Because this is, look, this is pressure altitude, okay? Now I want to follow this line. Look at what I'm doing very, very carefully. I'm going up to 30 degrees until I hit my pressure altitude line. Okay, so this is my pressure altitude line. This is what I'm pushing this line up to because I want it. Oops, oh, I didn't know I could do that. That's kind of cool. I need my temperature line to touch the pressure altitude line. Now from there, I just go directly over to this part right here, which is my density altitude line. Okay, and now you could read that my density altitude looks like it's just 4,000. Okay, so dA equals 4,000. That's how you use this chart. Okay, and this is step 1. Okay, is find your temperature. Step 2, follow it up until you hit the intersecting pressure altitude line, and then step 3 is looking to the left until you find your density altitude. Do we need to do one more example? I don't think so. I think you guys are good, okay? That's it, guys. Have a good one.